Yeah, I want to talk about safety and jacking up the car. A lot of times people jack up the car with one of these jacks like this. That's pretty common, and you should always use jack stands. You know, I have these jacks. I have more stuff than this, but these are really heavy-duty jack stands, and they'll hold up a hell of, that's 2 tons each. So you're talking a car usually is under the 2 tons for the whole car. So that's you know, these are made for trucks, and these little ones too, these will hold up, they'll suffice too. But a lot of times people don't use jack stands, and because it takes a little more time, but you're better off with jack stands because you can't trust a jack. Like this jack here actually bent because it was a little bit on an angle, and I never use it too much anyway, but it's dangerous, and I actually use this one here all the time. But these are some pretty good things to get for gifts if you got somebody that in your family that's DIY into cars and stuff, because they might have some stuff, they might be using little scissor jacks, which are okay, but you want an actual floor jack that you can roll around plus the jack stands, and it's better to buy quality versus quantity. Now, these kind of jacks, you get a lot of lifting power for. I don't use them too much. You get a lot of lifting power, and you notice they you unscrew on the top here, and you'll have to use a piece of wood because you don't want that small area going up against the frame by itself. But they're good for a truck, like a truck that's pretty high up. That's a good jack for that. Just to jack it up, then you put the jack stand underneath it, because when you're using these low profile jacks like that, you know, you'd have to lift the jack up somewhat to get it, you know, to where the frame of the truck is, especially if it's lifted up. Now these come up a little bit. They usually do. Maybe this one doesn't. But actually I use this one almost all the time because I don't have anything that's really high up except the Jeep, and I wind up just using that little black one for that. So, but the other thing to do too is if you want to get the car up really fast, is use the ramps. Now you can make ramps, but it's a lot easier to just buy them. They're a lot lighter, they're still strong, and these are plastic. As long as you don't leave them out in the sun, they don't degrade, they last a really long time. If you leave these out in the sun, they're no good. I think it's my personal opinion, the UV rays would weaken the plastic if these were left out in the sun all the time, so you don't want to do that. These are actually made by I think Rhino or something like that, Rhino ramps. They're much, I used to have wood ones, and they're much lighter than the wood ones, and actually I have 4 of those, because then I could drive the whole car up at the same time, and if you're working on something, it's almost like you got a mini lift. It's fantastic. It's pretty fast. It's a lot faster than dragging up the car, you know, one corner at a time. But you know, if you're looking for some ideas too for gifts for people like DIY mechanics, these are good things. But one thing you should always use, definitely always use the jack stands with the jack. You know, sometimes you know, if I'm changing a tire, sometimes I won't use it because I'm not under the car, and if I'm using that really good quality jack, you know, if I'm changing a tire. But if you're going under the car, you definitely want jack stands. Also, you want to go with quality, because I can tell you these, I'm not going to show the brand name of these tools. I picked these up, and I have all good quality tools. I just happened to pick these up. It says, you know, I figured I'd just get some 1/4-inch stuff because they're lightweight. Well, they broke pretty easy. So you don't want to buy anything that's low quality. And I found out most of the time stuff made, you know, the USA stuff is a hell of a lot better than the Chinese stuff in quality. Maybe it's a little more money, but the thing is, they last a long time. Like I had those stands for 40 years. And same with that orange jack over there, 40 years. And there's nothing wrong with them. Now, if you have a leak, I was going to point this out. If you ever have a leak in the jack, you fill it up with jack oil. That's where that screw hole is right here. And if it's leaking in the seal, a lot of times you don't need to actually take the jack apart. What you could do is you put this stuff in an AT205 reseal. It works for like transmissions. It works for sometimes even for motorcycle forks. But it's pretty cool for the hydraulic jacks if you got a slight leak in the seal. This will usually do it. Now, one other thing, if you don't want to spend this kind of money, you want to spend more money, and it's for a DIY type mechanic person that's more serious, you might want to get them an engine stand, something like this, all adjustable. You can move this around. It just bolts right back of the block. You got, you can spin the whole engine around. It's got, a pin here, so you can spin the whole engine around, turn this whole thing. Or you might want to get them a whole engine hoist and car hoist, something like this, with wheels that lifts a couple thousand pounds. It's got a big hydraulic ram on it. Now, something like this, if you're a woman and you're buying this for a guy, I don't think you can get this. You could probably have it delivered. You can have it delivered. That would be the only way, These other smaller items, you can probably, have them picked up in a car, and they're not too much weight. Even these ramps, even though they're bulky, they're not heavy. And that's the reason you want to buy the ramps. You don't want to actually make the ramps, because I had ramps and I made them out of wood, and they're like, going up these are a lot smoother, and they have like a little bevel here, so it doesn't back down, and they have a stop up here too. So they fit right in. The tire just fits right in there. It's a lot safer. It's a lot easier. It's pretty easy. The only time you can't really use the ramps is if you're working on something with the wheel itself, and you gotta have the suspension down on the car, and then you have to jack it up from the frame. But a lot of times these are handy. But to be quite honest, the one I actually use almost all the time is that jack right there. It's a good quality floor jack. It's not real a lot of money. It's compact. It's not heavy, and it's plenty strong enough. It didn't bend or anything like that, like the other one did. And the other one actually I could fix. I could just put a piece of channel iron across the bottom with some grade 8 bolts, and it'll be probably a really super strong jack. But that's what you want to do, is you want to buy quality. And these are some really stuff that DIYers need. And if they don't have the right stuff, they don't have jack stands, they don't have a proper jack, that's a major safety issue. So that'll be good. Those are some pretty good things to get.